Yes, hello and welcome. Today's a fantastic show with a great mix of things, very exciting things, including the first quote-unquote great horror movie of the year, which is called In the Earth, right here, right on the poster. The first great horror movie of 2021. Is it so? I'll let you know in just a sec. We're also going to talk about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the newest episode, episode 5, which is now called The Falcon's Sister and the Winter Soldier. Of course, we all know why. And I'm also going to talk about Harley Quinn, Breaking Glass, the first of the 3 DC things are falling apart. New Age, anyway, it's one of their new lines of young adult graphic novels. So that's the first one. I'll talk about that, and there's 2 more that I will read in the upcoming weeks. Crap. I'll have visuals for everything. Sorry, my mouse fell down, the battery. Everything is breaking down, but that's okay. That's always the case. Good news, phase 2 has started. I got my light, baby. For a full month since I moved, I had no light in the room. Now I do, which means I will do later streams. Games, we're going all in. And of course, this right here, right in front of you, the animals, will be replaced very, very soon with graffiti art. Graffiti art from around not only my neighborhood, but from the city. I've already got like 30 on Google Maps, so this is going to be insane. And I got a good camera to get them. It's just a matter of the weather being nice and capturing them, so there'll be more and more, and that will be mine instead of using animals from a BBC nature documentary. You know what I mean? I'll put in the legwork to have some amazing visuals to show you guys at every show. So here we go. In the Earth. I can do the trailer for this one because it is not the first great horror movie of 2021. It is the first good horror movie of 2021. It is a hard 7, which means I do not recommend this film. Only if you're a hardcore horror fan, and anytime a good horror movie is out, you need to see it. That's the way I see it, because they're pretty rare. You get 1 every 2 months-ish on average. We're lucky to get 10 every year that are just good, not even great. The great ones, it's like 3 every year if you're lucky. So yeah, it's hard 7. It is pretty much, I'll show you the trailer here because I don't mind spoilers since I'm not truly recommending it. Yeah. Losing my words here, I'm excited. I just ate some sushi. But the beautiful aspect of the story is that it is 2/3 people in the woods. That is pretty much it. That's why it's the title. There's some beautiful shots of scenery from the forest, but it's also a post-pandemic movie. So they literally bring up the pandemic. You got people like sanitizing their hands. It's like part of the story, which is a bit of a downer, because I guess as an audience, we don't really want to see that, But yeah, it's not a big part of the story, but it does deal with the paranoia that this time has brought upon us. But yeah, 2 people in the woods trying to find answers to folkloric questions. Stuff happens. I won't spoil it. But so yeah, if you're a hardcore movie fan, highly recommend it. If you're not interested by literally 2 people walking in the woods and some slightly horrific stuff happens, the gore is extremely good. The gore is what actually makes this worth watching. But if not, it's not worth risking going to the cinema for, and it's also not a must-see. But, everything has value. Especially the gore in this one. He has the same director of Free Fire, which I like. A quick action scene, literally in a warehouse. Like the whole movie's in a warehouse. Brie Larson's in it. Anyway, that's why I went to go see it, because of the director. So that's it for Free Fire. I've said what I've said. Harley Quinn, Breaking Glass, when it came out, was extremely controversial. Here's the thing, I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is not good. Usually, most comics I read, I give a 4. 3 is like a, 6 out of 10, if you will. Which means I don't recommend it. But it has a 4.3 here, which is insane. And the reason for its controversy was it was right at the time where SJW stuff was coming to the forefront, and the bad side of those aspects were. So I'll tell you right now, in this story, Harley Quinn, by the way, this is probably a comic for 14-year-olds, is a teenager, of course, going to school, etc., etc. Her best friend is Poison Ivy, but in this book, in this universe, people don't have powers. There is no powers at all. Meaning, Poison Ivy is just a black woman activist who happens to like plants. But she's heavily into women's rights, women's issues, right? And then Harley Quinn does not have a home. She is kind of an orphan, but where she lives is at a drag queen bar. with a bunch of gays in the gay village. So, and every night they do like a drag. Right here, see, that's her crew, so to speak, who she lives with. They're not a big part of the story. And yeah, she goes to high school. You got these preppy kids, so it's a classic poor versus rich. So that's poor versus rich. It has the gay aspect, the activism aspect, and it has this whole message of, you know, there's too much. You know what I mean? If you take one of these things by itself, it's awesome. It's perfect. You know, I love that she lives at a drag queen bar, but you put all of the elements together, and it becomes a story about the issues and less about Harley Quinn and what she's going through. She's just like a tornado that goes through everybody else's story. And that's Poison Ivy right here on the top left, by the way. And also, if you can see the art is insane. In terms of detail and in terms of expression, it is incredible. But there is a blue color shine to everything, which is, I mean, you see it from yourself. And from just an eye point of view, it's not... other than the detail, which again is incredible, it's not very appealing. And they have flashback scenes which have a orange. Every time there's a flashback, it turns to bright orange, which is much better. And so yeah, those are the reasons why I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a hardcore Harley Quinn fan, or you have a 14-year-old niece that is the same thing. But even then, I would pass. And like I said, I have 2 more to read. So we'll see, and there's a lot more where these came from. These are only the beginning. I believe there's more than 10. They're all over here. So you got Shadow the Bat, Black Canary, Catwoman, Oracle. Oracle looks awesome because she's in the wheelchair, so that's badass. Raven, she's wearing headphones, which is like... Raven with headphones is surprisingly funny. Mara, of course, Gotham High, etc., etc. So there's a bunch. I have these 3 right now. And it's not like these are the only things I'm reading. Of course, these are 3 of 20. But, and Primer is the one I'm most excited for, because this is the only one where they're taking a completely new character for this line of books. And Wonder Woman, by the way, clearly for much younger audiences. I'm guessing 10 years old. But that means more images, more nice art. And to be honest, I'm kind of excited about it. So yeah, Wonder Woman next, and we'll see. But as of now, Harley Quinn, we're good. And I didn't want to spoil one thing. I'll spoil Joker, because if I'm being honest, this might be one of the worst Jokers ever. And I'm not even going to spoil it, but I'll spoil what he looks like. Here you got a nice shot in shadow, which I actually really like right here on the right. But this is what he looks like. Okay, so he's like wearing a paper sheet that hides everything except for his hair. And he put like weird newspaper clippings of weird art. And that's what he looks like at all times. He looks like a bag on his head. He's also young, like he's her age-ish. And she falls for him like she does in most stories. But let's just say... trust me, this is not your Joker. Not your Joker. I wasn't mad, but I was certainly disappointed towards the end. So yeah, that's our Harley Quinn. Cool take, but a little too much messaging. Which, by the way, the same could be said about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but the difference there is that the messaging in this one is like there's a true purpose to it. It's not like throwing a bunch of issues that are worth talking about on the wall and seeing what sticks. It is literally picking and choosing. In this case, the political side is completely gone, mostly. Where like, you know, America gets to choose who Captain America is. By the way, we're going into spoilers. That wasn't a spoiler, that's just the beginning premise. Yeah, I have to go into spoilers because, and the rest of the show is mostly stuff that are coming up. So, and don't worry, I won't go into too crazy spoilers in case you want to stick around for that. But yeah. But the thing they are going for, big time, in the same way WandaVision was about grief, this one is about race in a big way. You know, not only should there be a black Captain America, which of course yes, but what that means on a big scale, and I mean socio-political scale. And they explore it from multiple angles here, and the old Captain America, which is the only thing I'll say, his point of view was amazing. And the acting from that scene was like impeccable. So much so that this is the first episode and the only episode I give him the 10 to, which is surprising. Because to be honest, I did not expect this. Last episode, last show, I literally said that there are 2 things I do not think will happen. That they will become friends, because I'm like, there's only 2 episodes left. They don't have the time. And they won't do... Damn it, what's the other thing? What's the other thing? No. Anyway, it's gone. Point is, the two things I was sure would not happen happened in this episode, which blew me away. So I'm sure it has something to do with the racial undertones, which are extremely balanced and well delivered, right? If they weren't, trust me, the backlash would be gigantic. I'm sure there are racists that hate the show, and that division, the choice that they made, they knew that if they, by making the show, by writing it as they did, they would make racists hate the show. I know that sounds stupid, and I know that sounds simple, like, who cares about the racists? Well, if you're Marvel, you're cutting out, let's say, if we're being generous, about like 1% of your audience, right? But that's thousands of people. That's thousands of people who watch Falcon and Winter Soldier that do not agree or appreciate where the story is going in terms of what it's trying to say. And that's choice. That's it takes balls to do that. Not only Disney themselves as a company, but the creators like Kevin Feige and the direction of Marvel, because this will forever impact the rest, not directly, like it'll never be referenced, right? There'll never be a scene in the next Avenger where Spider-Man is like looking at Sam and going like, "Ooh, black Captain America, nice." You know, that scene is never going to happen, but it will always be there in the undertones because they made it so, and they did it so well. So for that, I respect it fully. Also, the friendship between Bucky and Sam, expertly done here. I also love the flirtations here. I know this is a meme, it's a joke, but can you imagine if Winter Soldier became the stepdad to Sam's nephews? That blows my mind. Blows my mind, but I love it as an idea. It's a fun thing to talk about. I forgot. I'm supposed to put Zemo dancing while talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about the finale, but I know for a fact that it's gonna be pure action. It's gonna be action from all sides. It's all gonna come together, and we're gonna get less of the conversations and the racial subjects that this episode was all about. Like, we're going complete action next time, and we're perfectly fine with that because, like I said, in terms of everything else, this episode was perfect. So yeah, that's Falcon and Winter Soldier. Finally, coming up, Invincible. I'm all caught up, all the way to episode 6. I've recommended it earlier. I'll recommend it again, especially not only if you're a superhero fan, because you kind of have to be if you want to be into this show, but as a Western animation, it is 40 minutes per episode. You have no idea how rare that is. Not only that, but if it exists, period. Because, you know, we think of Avatar, 20 minutes, and a few Netflix shows sometimes play with that, like Kipo, maybe could be 30 minutes sometimes. But a full Rick and Morty, half an hour, right? Most are 10. It's still the classic Adventure Time Amphibia, which I'll talk about soon, model of 10-10. So one episode is 2 episodes. But to see a 40-minute episode show that needs to keep your attention, and needs to keep, pushing it, they're doing a great job. Not a masterful job, because of course a lot of 8s, hell, it's all 8s except 1 9. But it must be commended. I know it's a small thing. But the craziest thing, if I'm going to sell you on this, especially coming from an anime fan's perspective, is episode 3 has a tournament arc. Tournament arc is, man, if you're an anime fan, it gets your juices flowing. It's like you would wish that on every show. Of course, it doesn't make sense in every show. But, no self-respecting anime fan does not like a tournament arc or, one-on-one. Usually they use it as an excuse because it's the only viable reason for heroes to fight each other. But they do it all in episode 3 in 10 minutes. It's crazy. They fit in an entire tournament arc with high stakes, man. High stakes. Let's just say, what if the prize to a tournament arc was being part of the Justice League? That's literally it. And they did it in 15 minutes. It's fantastic. So just for that alone, you should check it out. And if after episode 3 you're not in, then you can leave, because this show will last for a long, long time. I'm talking at least 5 seasons, at least. So there's no rush. So yeah, that's Invincible. And now, coming up, because this blew me away, I'm going to share this with you guys, because I got my mind blown yesterday. Blown. And it's something I'm going to watch tonight, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow, or after tomorrow. And we're also going to be playing a lot of Immortals Phoenix Rising, because the final DLC is coming out in 2 weeks. I got to catch up to the DLC, because of course I do want to stream a lot of DLC. So Immortals Phoenix Rising, Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, Doom Eternal the Old Gods Part 1 and 2 I will stream. And some hardcore stuff, baby. And others, of course. And so yeah, that's coming up soon. But this Blue Moon, wait, okay, not Over the Moon, sorry. Over the Moon is a Netflix animated film that's nominated for the Oscars. It's probably the weakest one, but it's just because it is the one Netflix animated film of 2020. They usually come out one a year, and this popped up in my recommendations, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I did not know it was Netflix at first, and I thought it was a TV show, which is why I started watching this trailer, which I usually never do, especially for film. And then this is what happened. We're only going to do 11 seconds, because that's all I watched. Here we go. Oops. Let me pause the music. Okay.
Happy birthday, darling.
I gotta talk because
you're old enough to know the truth.
I have a dad from a city called New York.
Okay. So he's a crocodile from the bayou who has a long estranged father in the city of New York City, okay?
This is your adventure.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This is a 2D musical with a singing bayou crocodile going to the city for probably the first time ever to find his lost father. You gotta be shitting me. There's nothing more exciting to me than this. And the fact that it's also a Netflix exclusive, it's a film, which means they put their all into this. And again, we're talking about choices here. The boss had to say yes. They came in with the pitch. Look, guys, look, it's a crocodile from the bayou, okay? He sings and he goes to New York. And it's a musical. And they're like, sure. That hasn't been done since Princess and the Frog. Freaking, what, 15 years ago? I'm so excited for this. So tonight, Arlo the Alligator Boy came out like 3 days ago. I'm technically late, but it doesn't change the fact of how excited I am for this. This is what I live for. If I wouldn't review this, I wouldn't be me. So it's most important. I know only I'm excited. Only I am this excited about Arlo the Alligator Boy. But trust me, nothing makes me prouder. And coming up, baby, same thing. Talking about finales, Castlevania. Probably, if you put your money on something, if you were gonna bet, right? You're betting money on what is the best video game adaptation of all time, regardless of medium. You know, it has to be film or TV. Castlevania is probably it. It is probably it. Not because of its consistency. It is a 3-season show, 4th season, which is the final one, just announced, coming out on May 14th, 13th, which means we have 3 weeks to catch up. I am mostly caught up except for season 3. I still have to watch season 3. So I'll watch season 3 right now, catch up, so that we could, finish it on May 13th, because it comes out, there's no waiting. It's Netflix, all in one block. And the fact that it is announced as the finale, and it does have this respect, which, by the way, C9.5, has gigantic respect. It's a big deal. So we have to be there on the ground floor when it ends. So I'm going to catch up on this real soon, as well as watching Dr. Stone, finishing other things, and of course Amphibia as well. I'm saying of course like everybody knows, only I know, or a few like animation fans know. Amphibia is freaking fantastic, baby. It's solidifying its place among the greats, with like Star vs. the Force of Evil, Steven Universe, Avatar, of course, and others. So season 2 is a big deal because it starts like as a full-on travel where they're going someplace, and then they get there and it's a whole new world. It's crazy because season 1 is in Amphibia, and then season 2 like blows it up. It's like a lot. It's like Shrek 2 in that way. So I didn't check on chat. Here we go. So yeah, same thing with Castlevania. The season finale of season 2 is the 1st of May, and I don't have that much to catch up, but I'm just saying, if you haven't caught up, it's on Disney Plus. Incredible. At the end of season 2, it's a big deal. I'm pretty sure it's not a series finale, but regardless, I'm serious. Amphibia is fantastic, especially if you love, Adventure Time and whatnot. It's in that category, and if not, you want something more serious, Castlevania is it. Same thing. It's finishing soon, so now is the time. But regardless of which, Arlo the Alligator Boy tonight, and tomorrow for sure we're going to play some Immortals Phoenix Rising. I have to put in the work, have to put in the hours to get to the ending so we can get to the DLC, which is exciting. There's one that's set in its own world of Asia. It's all based on Asian culture, and Ubisoft, either in China or Japan, made this specific DLC. They're like, look, you guys know your own culture, do it. Here's the engine. Here's the assets. Create, you know, your own part, your own mythology, your own characters. Exciting stuff. And the final DLC, same thing. It's like a top-down. It's like a whole new game. So it's very exciting. So for sure, Immortals Phoenix Rising tomorrow, as well as other things. If not another show like this, talking about Arlo and the Crocodile Boil, it will be reactions about a bunch of stuff. Until next time, try to chat one last time. Sorry, a lot of ramblings, but I'm passionate, baby. The light is back. Everything is good. Small thing, but why not? Because it's next to me. I tried this monster. Punch. Chaotic. Right? Yeah, this can. Might be one of the best monsters. Like, top 3. Random finish. I usually have a meme. I wanted to finish on Arlo. But that's it. Fuck it. Next time. Love you guys.